Welcome, Hornets, and thank you for joining me. This is part 3 for assignment number 4, second term. And we were in the middle of the working with the mean value theorem for integrals when my lights unfortunately went out. So we are going to continue with number 51 in this video, and then we are going to be working with the average value of a function before we move on. All right, so here we go. Right here, you'll notice that I've written down the fundamental theorem of the mean value theorem of calculus, putting it into its form. And what we want to do is we want to take the integral from 1 to 4 of f of x dx, and we want to divide it by this piece here. In this case, we're going to divide by 3, and we want it to equal our f of x. And the f of x is given right here. We're going to use the calculator to do this. So here we go. We're going to start by going y equals. And I'm going to put the fraction alpha y equals to get that fraction in. And I'm going to put math 9 from 1 up to 4 for the function that is given to me. 5 minus the fraction 1 over x dx, and then in the denominator I'm putting the 3. In y2 I'm putting 5 minus 1 over x. I'm now going to look at my interval from 1 to 4, and I'm going to hit zoom fit. That's zoom 0, and it should give me both graphs, and then I should be able to see the intersection. And that's my goal. So it is having to think a little bit. Please beware whenever you do these types of things, that's going to happen, especially when we're working with these integrals. Going to take some time, and here we go. So it's now cruising across. That's the integration. Now, if we had found the value ahead of time and put it into y1, this would go a lot faster. But I do like to have the calculator do the work for me at times, and that just helps me to practice using the calculator as a tool. And you'll notice it's still thinking and working because it's going through each value along the continuous domain from 1 to 4. In just a moment, it's going to put up that 5 minus 1 over x. You'll notice that 0 is not part of my domain, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. There's the value I'm looking for. And now I'm going to hit second trace, intersection 5, enter, enter, enter. And the value we get is 2.164. So 2.164 is my answer. C is approximately 2.164. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go down to number 55. 55 is asking us to work with the average rate of the average value of a function. And so we're looking at our function as f of x equals 9 minus x squared. And the interval we're working from is -3 to 3. Now, to find the average value, we want to integrate f of x dx from a to b, and we're going to divide by b minus a. So let's go ahead and put that in, and then we'll evaluate it. We have -3 to 3 of 9 minus x squared, and I could always go 0 to 3 and double it. It is an even function after all. And I have 3 minus -3 gives me 6. This is what I'm going to locate. So we're going to put it into our calculator, go to the home screen, make your fraction. In the numerator, put math 9 from -3 up to +3. In the parenthesis, put 9 minus x squared dx. And in the denominator, put 6 and hit enter. The value we get is 6. Now notice What we're trying to do is if I'm trying to find an average velocity, I integrate velocity. If I want to find an average acceleration, I integrate acceleration. Okay? The reason is because when we are doing our antiderivative, we take away time and we put time back in the denominator. So we end up going from a position using our fundamental theorem of calculus if we're dealing with a velocity, and I then divide by time and I get my average velocity. Okay? So the average, whatever we're finding, is what we're going to integrate over the interval given. Let's take a look now at number 57. And 57 gives us the function f of x equals 2e to the x, and the interval is negative 1 to 1. So once again, I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to make my fraction using alpha y equals. I'm going to put in math 9 from negative 1 to 1. I'm going to put in my function 2e to the power of x dx. In the denominator, I have the 1 minus negative 1. Notice I can either simplify it and put that value down, which is a 2, or I can leave it like so. Hitting enter, and I have my answer 2.350. This answer is 2.350. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move forward now as we take a look at some of the other problems. Let's go ahead and take a look then at number 71. Evaluate the definite integral, and they give us information. So they're telling us that we want to evaluate each of these at x equals 2, x equals 5, and x equals 8. The function they're giving us is the integration from 0 to x and we have 4t minus 7. And they want us to find the function f in terms of x. Now, if I'm going to do that, that means that I'm using the fundamental theorem of calculus. That's 4t squared divided by 2 minus 7t from 0 to x. This is what f of x is. When I do this, I end up getting 2x squared minus 7x minus 0. And therefore, f of x is 2x squared minus 7x. They now want me to find f of 2, and f of 2 is going to give me 8 minus 14, and I get negative 6. f of 5 is 50 minus 35, and 50 minus 35 is 15, and then we do f of 8. f of 8 is going to give me 64 times 2 is 128, and I'm subtracting 8 times 7 is 56, and I'm going to end up getting 2 and 7 for 72. Now, there is another way to find this. I can find f of 2 by doing the integration from 0 to 2 of 4t minus 7 dt. This will give me my 2t squared minus 7t, and it's from 0 to 2. And you'll notice we're going to get the exact same thing. The 0 takes this all away, gives us a minus 0, excuse me. And when I plug in the 2, I'm looking at 8 minus 14 minus 0 minus 0, and I'm ending up with a negative 6. The exact same answer we found here. Once again, two ways to do this. Alrighty. Finally, I'd like to take a look at the last two problems, 101 and 102, from our homework. And what we are being asked to do is find the horizontal displacement and then find the total distance. Horizontal displacement is the integration of velocity from A to B, and total distance is the absolute value of the velocity from A to B. So we're going to do both of those. And in number 101, we are given a velocity, v of t, and it is 5t minus 7, and the interval is 0 to 3. So the integration from 0 to 3 of 5t minus 7 dt. This is going to give me 5 halves t squared minus 7t from 0 to 3. Plugging in the 3 is giving me 5 times 9 divided by 2 minus 21. 5 times 9, let's just go ahead and quickly use 45 divided by 2. And 45 divided by 2 minus 21 gives me 1.5. The horizontal displacement is 1.5. Now we're going to take a look at 0 to 3 for the absolute value of 5t minus 7 dt. Now, you'll notice that we're now looking at 7/5. 7/5 is our midpoint. So 0 to 7/5, minus goes in front, 5t minus 7 dt, adding to it 5/7, to our value 3 for 5t minus 7 dt. And we're now going to evaluate each of these following the same pattern. So we have a minus 5 halves t squared minus 7t, and we're going from 0 to 7/5, plus, now we're doing it again. This time it's a positive, and we have 5 halves t squared minus 7t, and we're going from 7/5 to 3. We're going to want to put these in. Here we go. I'm going to start with the first one. I have negative 5 divided by 2, parentheses, 7 divided by 5, the quantity squared, minus 7, 5 divided by 7. Let's try that again. 7 divided by 5, please. Flipping it upside down. Not fun. And let's find out what we get. Negative 14.7 minus 0 plus, now we're going to do it again, but this time it's a positive. Hang on, I see an error. Notice that should have been a double negative for a plus right there when I distribute that negative, and I did not do that. So let's just go ahead and redo it. Negative 5 divided by 2, parentheses, 7 divided by 5, the quantity squared, plus 7 parentheses, 7 divided by 5, and then hit enter. Alrighty, this is better. This gives me the 4.9. Once again, that double negative is just going to be a subtraction. And now we're doing it again as 5 divided by 2, parentheses, 3, the quantity squared, and then we have minus 7 times 3. This is giving me 1.5, and I'm now subtracting 7.5 placed into this. So 5 divided by 2, parentheses, 7 divided by 5, the quantity squared, minus 7 times 7 divided by 5, hit enter, and I get a negative 4.9. So the double negative makes it a positive, and I'm now adding 4.9 plus 4.9 plus 1.5, and I'm getting 11.3. Now, we can easily do this as well with our calculator by simply plugging it in. This gives us math 9, working from 0 up to 3. This is going to tell me whether I got it right or wrong. Math, number, absolute value, and now put in 5x minus 7. Go out and put a dx, and my hope is that I get 11.33. And I do. Now notice those small zeros behind. That's the equivalent to saying that it's still adding limits. And because it's adding limits, it's got this really teeny little piece that's still being added. Please be aware, if we were going through and actually doing all of this, we could eliminate that and find it another way. Alrighty, so that's number 101. I leave 102 to you to try to do, and that's it for assignment number 4. Thank you very much, Hornets. I hope this has helped. If it has, please make sure you click like, and thank you very much. Be safe, be kind, and remember, it is easy to be mean, so try to be nice to each other and change the world from within. Bye-bye now.